I'm sitting in a hard plastic chair in the pediatric ICU at St. Mary's Hospital in Boise, Idaho, my eyes glued to my 10-year-old son, Noah, lying still in a tangle of tubes and wires. The steady beep of his heart monitor is the only thing keeping me grounded. It's been 48 hours since the accident, and I haven't slept more than a few minutes at a time. My name's Hannah Caldwell. I'm 33, and right now my entire world is this small, sterile room. Noah's chest rises and falls with the ventilator's rhythm, his face pale under the bruises. I clutch his hand, careful not to disturb the IV, and whisper promises I'm not sure I can keep. "You're going to be okay, buddy. I'm right here. Let me take you back to how we got here." Growing up in a tidy Boise suburb, I learned early that my mother, Eleanor, ran our family like a stage director obsessed with a perfect performance. Our 2-story house with its manicured lawn and white shutters was her set, and we were her actors. My older sister Sophie was the star. She had a knack for painting, aced every class, and charmed everyone with her easy smile. Eleanor saw her as proof of our family's excellence. Me? I was the understudy who never quite got the lines right. I wasn't a troublemaker. I pulled solid grades, ran track, and helped at the local library. But to Eleanor, my efforts were always a step short. "Why can't you be more like Sophie?" she'd say, her voice sharp enough to cut. If Sophie got a scholarship, my honor roll certificate was barely acknowledged. If she sold a painting at a local gallery, my second-place track medal got a distracted nod. My dad, James, was a quiet engineer who spent long hours at a tech firm. When he was home, he'd try to soften Eleanor's criticism. "She just wants you to shine, Hannah," he'd say, his eyes tired. But Eleanor's version of shining meant molding me into Sophie's shadow. By high school, I stopped trying to win her approval. I found my own path, sketching landscapes in charcoal and volunteering at a community garden. Those moments, surrounded by soil and silence, gave me a peace Eleanor's praise never could. Then I met Caleb in my first year at Boise State. He was a forestry major, all flannel shirts and warm laughs, dreaming of working for the National Park Service. Caleb saw me, not as Sophie's lesser half, but as Hannah, someone who loved late-night hikes and bad puns. For the first time, I felt like enough. We got engaged at 21, and when I told my parents, Eleanor's reaction was ice cold. "A park ranger? You're giving up a real career for this?" She couldn't grasp that Caleb's steady love was worth more than her version of success. His family, a loud, close-knit crew from rural Idaho, welcomed me with potlucks and bear hugs. We married in a small mountain chapel, despite Eleanor's tight-lipped presence. She called the wildflower bouquets tacky and the reception too rustic. James slipped me a card with a quiet, "I'm proud of you, kid." Noah arrived a year later, a chubby baby with Caleb's hazel eyes and my stubborn streak. Even Eleanor seemed to warm to him, though her compliments came with barbs. "You're feeding him too often, Hannah. He'll get fussy." Or, "That daycare isn't top tier. You should switch." Caleb's job took us to a ranger station near the Sawtooth Mountains, a cozy cabin where we built a life of campfires and stargazing. For 5 years, we were happy. Then, one crisp autumn, a wildfire swept through the forest. Caleb was out with his crew, coordinating evacuations. A sudden wind shift trapped them. I got the call at midnight. 2 rangers didn't make it, including my husband. Just like that, I was a 27-year-old widow with a 3-year-old who kept asking when Daddy would come home. Grief was a heavy fog, but Noah needed me. I moved us back to Boise, renting a small apartment near a good school. I took a job as a receptionist at a community college, trading my sketching pencils for spreadsheets. Caleb's life insurance kept us afloat, but emotionally, we were barely treading water. Eleanor saw my loss as her chance to take charge. "You should move in with us, Hannah. You can't do this alone." When I refused, she found other ways to control me. She'd buy Noah flashy toys I couldn't afford, then remind him, "Grandma gets you the good stuff, doesn't she?" She'd plan outings during my rare weekends off, making me the bad guy if I said no. Sophie, meanwhile, was living her flawless life. a graphic designer married to a tech entrepreneur, with 2 perfect kids in a gated community. Every family dinner was a showcase of her achievements. Sophie's designing a mural for the city, Eleanor would beam. And Hannah, you're still at that desk job? I kept the peace for Noah's sake. He adored his cousins, and sometimes when Eleanor wasn't picking apart my choices, we had moments that felt almost normal. James was my anchor, calling to check in or sneaking Noah a comic book when Eleanor wasn't looking. Over the years, Noah grew into a bright, curious kid, all knees and elbows, obsessed with building model rockets. We made our own traditions: Saturday hikes, pizza nights, and stories about Caleb's adventures. The pain of losing Caleb never faded, but it softened into something we could carry. Lately, things were looking up. I'd gotten a raise, enough to plan a summer trip to Yellowstone, Noah's dream. He'd joined the school's astronomy club, spending evenings charting constellations. We were finding our rhythm, a fragile but real happiness. I didn't know it was about to shatter. It was a sunny Saturday morning, the kind that begs for open windows and bare feet. Noah burst into our tiny kitchen, his hair a mess, already talking a mile a minute. "Mom, can I go skateboarding with Owen and Sam? They're hitting the park trail. Owen's mom is driving." I looked up from my coffee, smiling at his energy. "Helmet? Phone?" I asked. "Our usual checklist?" "Yep," he said, rolling his eyes. "I'm not 5, Mom," I laughed, ruffling his hair as he squirmed away. "Be back by 3. We've got rocket supplies to buy." He grinned, grabbed his board, and was out the door. I watched him hop into Owen's mom's minivan from our balcony, waving as they pulled away. That was the last moment everything felt okay. The call came at 10:45. An unknown number. "Is this Hannah Caldwell, Noah's mother?" a woman asked, her voice calm but urgent. "There's been an accident on the park trail. A driver lost control. Noah's been taken to St. Mary's. He's in critical condition." The world tilted. I don't remember grabbing my keys or driving. My next clear memory is stumbling into the ER, gasping Noah's name. A nurse led me to a quiet room, where a doctor with steady eyes explained the unthinkable. Noah had a severe head injury, a fractured pelvis, and internal bleeding. He was in surgery to relieve brain swelling. The next 24 hours would be critical. "Is he going to make it?" I asked, my voice a stranger's. The doctor didn't sugarcoat it. "He's young and strong, but these injuries are serious. We're doing everything we can." I called James, barely coherent. He said he'd be there soon. Then I sat in the surgical waiting room, surrounded by strangers' muffled sobs, and waited. Noah was in surgery for 5 hours. 5 hours of pacing, praying, and bargaining with a universe that had already taken Caleb. When the surgeon emerged, his face was unreadable. "We stopped the bleeding, but the brain swelling is significant. He's in a medically induced coma to give him a chance to heal. You can see him soon, but prepare yourself. He won't look like himself." James arrived as they moved Noah to the ICU. He hugged me, and I collapsed against him, sobbing. "It's going to be okay, Hannah," he whispered. I wanted to believe him. When they let me see Noah, the sight broke something inside me. My wild, laughing boy was unrecognizable, his head bandaged, his body tethered to machines. A nurse, Emily Torres, showed me how to touch his hand without disturbing the tubes. "Talk to him," she said gently. "He might hear you." So I did. I told him about the rocket we'd build and the stars we'd name. I kept talking, afraid silence would let him slip away. That first night, I refused to leave his side. The ICU staff brought me a blanket, but sleep was impossible. Every beep, every flicker of a monitor sent my heart racing. What if he woke up alone? What if he didn't wake up at all? Emily became my lifeline, explaining medical jargon in simple terms, slipping me coffee, and urging me to eat. James stayed until late, then left to update Eleanor, who hadn't come. "She's got a charity event," he said, apologetic. "She's praying for Noah." I nodded, too numb to care. By the second morning, exhaustion was a physical weight. Noah's condition hadn't changed. The doctors adjusted his meds, checked his reflexes, and repeated the same phrase. We need time. Owen's parents stopped by, bringing a bag of clothes from my apartment. Owen stood in the doorway, eyes down, guilt radiating off him. It's not your fault, I told him, though the words felt hollow. My co-workers sent a group text, promising to cover my shifts. Caleb's parents, now in Oregon, called, offering to drive down. I asked them to wait, not ready to share this limbo. As the second day dragged on, small signs gave me hope. Noah's blood pressure stabilized. His oxygen levels ticked up. The doctor said they might reduce sedation soon, but he still wasn't waking. I was staring at his bruised hand, willing it to move, when my phone buzzed. Eleanor's name lit up the screen. After 2 days of silence, she was finally calling. Relief flooded me. Maybe she was coming to help. Maybe she'd finally grasped what we were going through. I stepped just outside Noah's room, my voice low. Mom, thank you for calling. It's been so hard. Hannah, Eleanor's tone was all business. I'm finalizing plans for Sophie's birthday party tomorrow. I need you to swing by early to help set up. Say, 1 o'clock. I blinked, sure I'd misheard. Noah's in the ICU, Mom. He's not even conscious. I can't leave. She sighed, impatient. The doctors are handling it, Hannah. Your sitting there won't change anything. Sophie's been planning this for weeks. It's her 40th, a milestone. The hallway spun. My son's fighting for his life, I said, louder than I meant. And you want me to decorate for a party? Don't be dramatic, she snapped. Sophie will be crushed if you're not there. You know how much family means to her. I gripped the phone, my knuckles white. Noah might not make it, Mom. He's got brain swelling and broken bones. I'm not leaving him. Eleanor's voice turned cold. This is exactly why you struggle, Hannah. You always put your own issues above family. If you can't make time for Sophie, don't expect us to keep bailing you out. The trust fund for Noah, the help we've given you, it's not guaranteed. I froze, her words a slap. Are you saying you'll cut off your grandson because I won't go to a party? I'm saying family is a two-way street, she replied. You decide where your priorities lie. Something snapped inside me. Not just anger, but clarity. All my life, Eleanor had dangled her approval like a prize I'd never earn. Now she was using Noah's future as leverage. I'm choosing my son, I said, my voice steady. Goodbye, Mom. I hung up, my hands shaking, and deleted her number from my phone. Back in Noah's room, Emily glanced up. Everything okay? Not yet, I said, settling beside Noah. But it will be. The hospital room smells like antiseptic and despair, but I'm clinging to the faint warmth of Noah's hand in mine. It's been a few hours since I hung up on Eleanor, my mother's ultimatum still ringing in my ears like a bad song stuck on repeat. I'm choosing my son, I told her, and I meant it. But now in the quiet of the ICU, with only the hum of machines and Noah's shallow breaths to fill the space, doubt creeps in. Did I just burn a bridge I can't rebuild? Will my defiance cost Noah more than I can bear? I pushed the thoughts down, focusing on my boy's face, half hidden by bandages. Stay with me, Noah, I whisper. We'll figure this out together. I lean back in the chair, my body aching from days of tension. The weight of exhaustion is crushing, but sleep feels like betrayal. What if Noah stirs and I'm not awake to see it? Nurse Emily Torres passes by, her sneakers squeaking softly on the linoleum. She's been a quiet anchor, her calm presence cutting through my panic. You need to eat something, Hannah, she says, setting a granola bar on the tray beside me. You're no good to Noah if you pass out. I manage a weak smile, unwrapping the bar but not biting into it. Thanks, Emily, just not hungry. She nods, understanding, and checks Noah's chart. His vitals are holding steady, she says. That's something. I latch onto her words, small as they are, like a lifeline. The morning stretches on, a blur of medical checks and hushed conversations. Noah's doctor, a kind-eyed neurologist named Dr. Patel, stops by to review his scans. The swelling's not getting worse, he says, which is progress. We're keeping him in the coma for now, but we'll watch for signs he's ready to wake. I nod, clinging to not getting worse like it's a victory. How long until we know more? I ask. Dr. Patel's eyes soften. Every brain injury is different, Hannah. Could be days, could be longer. Just keep talking to him. I thank him, my throat tight, and resume my one-sided conversation with Noah. Remember that time we tried to camp in the backyard? You swore it was a raccoon. As I lean back in the chair, my body aching from days of tension. The weight of exhaustion is crushing, but sleep feels like betrayal. What if Noah stirs, and I'm not awake to see it? Nurse Emily Torres passes by, her sneakers squeaking softly on the linoleum. She's been a quiet anchor, her calm presence cutting through my panic. You need to eat something, Hannah, she says, setting a granola bar on the tray beside me. You're no good to Noah if you pass out. I manage a weak smile, unwrapping the bar but not biting into it. Thanks, Emily, just not hungry. She nods, understanding, and checks Noah's chart. His vitals are holding steady, she says. That's something. I latch onto her words, small as they are, like a lifeline. The morning stretches on, a blur of medical checks and hushed conversations. Noah's doctor, a kind-eyed neurologist named Dr. Patel, stops by to review his scans. The swelling's not getting worse, he says, which is progress. We're keeping him in the coma for now, but we'll watch for signs he's ready to wake. I nod, clinging to not getting worse like it's a victory. How long until we know more? I ask. Dr. Patel's eyes soften. Every brain injury is different, Hannah. Could be days, could be longer. Just keep talking to him. I thank him, my throat tight, and resume my one-sided conversation with Noah. Remember that time we tried to camp in the backyard? You swore a raccoon was going to steal our marshmallows. I laugh softly, the memory bittersweet. We'll camp for real when you're better, I promise. Around noon, my phone buzzes again. I brace myself, expecting Eleanor, but it's James, my dad. His voice is heavy, like he's carrying a load he can't put down. Hannah, I heard about your call with your mom. She's upset. I almost laugh at the understatement. Upset? Dad, she told me to leave Noah to help with Sophie's party. She threatened to cut off his college fund. There's a long pause, the kind that says he's stuck between loyalty to Eleanor and love for me. She didn't mean it like that, he says finally. She's just stressed about the party. Sophie's 40th is a big deal to her. I grip the phone tighter. Noah's life is a big deal to me, Dad. He's not waking up. I can't pretend everything's fine to make Mom happy. James sighs. I know, kid. I'm coming by later, okay? I'll try to talk to her. I soften a little. Thanks, Dad. Just don't expect her to listen. Steal our marshmallows. I laugh softly, the memory bittersweet. We'll camp for real when you're better, I promise. Around noon, my phone buzzes again. I brace myself, expecting Eleanor, but it's James, my dad. His voice is heavy, like he's carrying a load he can't put down. Hannah, I heard about your call with your mom. She's upset. I almost laugh at the understatement. Upset. Dad, she told me to leave Noah to help with Sophie's party. She threatened to cut off his college fund. There's a long pause, the kind that says he's stuck between loyalty to Eleanor and love for me. She didn't mean it like that, he says finally. She's just stressed about the party. Sophie's 40th is a big deal to her. I grip the phone tighter. Noah's life is a big deal to me, Dad. He's not waking up. I can't pretend everything's fine to make Mom happy. James sighs. I know, kid. I'm coming by later, okay? I'll try to talk to her. I soften a little. Thanks, Dad. Just don't expect her to listen. After we hang up, I stare at Noah, his chest rising and falling with mechanical precision. I've spent my whole life dodging Eleanor's expectations, bending over backward to keep the peace. When I chose Caleb over a respectable career, she called me reckless. When I moved us to the mountains, she said I was selfish. After Caleb died, she swooped in, offering help that always came with strings. "Move back home, Hannah. Let me fix your life." I said no, determined to give Noah a life free of her control. But her influence lingered, in the expensive gifts that made Noah feel small, in the constant comparisons to Sophie's perfect family. I thought I could handle it for Noah's sake, but now, with him fighting to survive, I see it clearly. Eleanor's love is a transaction, and I'm done paying the price. A soft knock pulls me from my thoughts. Owen's mom, Rachel, stands in the doorway holding a paper bag. "I brought you some things," she says, her eyes red-rimmed. "A change of clothes, your toothbrush, and some snacks. Owen's a mess. He blames himself." I stand, my legs stiff, and take the bag. "Tell him it's not his fault, Rachel. That driver. It was an accident." She nods, but the guilt in her eyes mirrors my own. If I'd driven Noah myself, if I'd said no to skateboarding? I shake off the what-ifs. "Can I see him?" Rachel asks. "Just for a minute?" I hesitate, protective, but her kindness softens me. "Sure, but he's not himself." She steps in, gasps softly at Noah's state, and whispers, "You're so strong, Noah. We're all rooting for you." Her words choke me up, a reminder of the community holding us up when my own family won't. Rachel leaves, and I rummage through the bag, pulling out a faded hoodie. It's Caleb's, one I kept after he died. I slip it on, the familiar scent of pine and smoke wrapping around me like a hug. I'm back at Noah's bedside when my phone lights up with a text from Sophie. "Mom says you're not coming tomorrow. Noah's hurt, I get it, but it's my 40th. Can't you stop by for an hour?" I stare at the screen, disbelief turning to anger. An hour? My son's in a coma and she thinks I can pop out for cake? I don't reply, silencing the phone. But the texts keep coming. "Aunt Linda. Your mom's heartbroken, Hannah. Family comes first." Cousin Mark. "It's just a party. Don't make it a big deal." Uncle Greg. "Sophie only turns 40 once." Each message is a jab, assuming Noah's crisis is a minor inconvenience. Not one asks how he's doing, not one offers to help. I turn the phone face down, my hands trembling. Growing up, I was always the one who gave in. When Eleanor planned Christmas at Sophie's fancy house, I'd drive hours to be there, even if it meant missing Noah's school play. When she insisted Noah join her country club's junior program, I'd rearrange my budget to make it work, only for her to critique his manners. I thought it was love, keeping the family together. Now I see it was survival, dodging her wrath. But Noah's accident has stripped away the fog. I can't keep sacrificing my son to appease a woman who sees us as props in her perfect life. Emily comes by, checking Noah's monitors. "You're doing great, Noah," she says softly, then turns to me. His intracranial pressure down a bit. It's not a guarantee, but it's good. My heart leaps, a spark of hope in the darkness. "Really? What does that mean?" She smiles, cautious. "It means his brain's getting a little breathing room. We'll keep monitoring." I squeeze Noah's hand, tears prickling. "Hear that, buddy? You're fighting so hard. I'm so proud of you." Emily lingers, her expression gentle but firm. "Hannah, I'm off shift soon, but I'm telling the night nurse to make you take a break, even just a shower. You're stronger for Noah when you're not running on empty." I nod, knowing she's right, but dreading the thought of leaving him. As afternoon fades into evening, the hospital grows quieter, the bustle of daytime giving way to a heavy stillness. I'm talking to Noah about the time he launched a model rocket that landed in our neighbor's tree when James arrived, his coat dusted with early spring pollen. He looks older, the lines around his eyes deeper. He hugs me, and for a moment I'm a kid again, safe in his arms. "How's our boy?" he asks, his voice rough. I update him. Stable vitals, slight improvement, no waking yet. He sits beside Noah, his hand hovering over Noah's before settling on the bed rail. "He's tough, like his dad," James says. I nod, swallowing the lump in my throat. Caleb would have been here, telling Noah to fight like a grizzly. I hesitated, then asked, "Did you talk to Mom?" James rubs his neck, a telltale sign he's uncomfortable. "She's doubling down, Hannah. Says you're being selfish, making Sophie's day about you." I laugh bitterly. Selfish? I'm trying to keep my son alive. He sighs, caught in the middle as always. I know, I told her Noah comes first, but she's got this idea of family loyalty. She thinks you're punishing her. Punishing her? I echo, incredulous. She's the one threatening Noah's future over a party. James looks away, and I see the truth. He can't change her. He never could. "I'm sorry, kid," he says. "I'll keep trying." I touch his arm. "Just be here for Noah, Dad. That's enough." He stays for an hour, telling Noah stories about fishing trips they took when Noah was little. It's a small comfort, watching my dad's love for his grandson shine through. After he leaves, promising to return tomorrow, I feel the weight of Eleanor's absence more sharply. My mother, who prides herself on family, hasn't set foot in this hospital. Instead, she's planning Sophie's party, probably polishing her silverware and fretting over guest lists. The realization stings, but it also hardens my resolve. Noah deserves better than her conditional love, and so do I. Night settles in, the ICU lights dimming to a soft glow. Emily's replacement, a nurse named Marcus, introduces himself with a warm handshake. He's got a kid Noah's age, he says, and promises to keep a close eye. I trust him, but the idea of leaving Noah even for a moment twists my stomach. Marcus insists I at least walk to the family lounge for a coffee. 10 minutes, he says. I'll call if anything changes. Reluctantly, I agree, pulling Caleb's hoodie tighter around me. The lounge is empty, a stark contrast to the ICU's constant hum. I pour a cup of stale coffee, staring out the window at Boise's twinkling skyline. For a moment, I let myself feel the full scope of what's happened. Not just Noah's accident, but the unraveling of my family. I've spent years trying to earn Eleanor's approval, only to realize it's a game I can't win. Cutting her off feels like freedom, but it's a heavy kind, laced with fear of what's next. Back in Noah's room, Marcus is adjusting a monitor. "He's stable," he says. "You should try to rest." I nod, but my eyes are on Noah. His fingers twitch, just a tiny movement, but it's enough to make my heart race. Marcus notices too, checking the chart. "Could be a reflex," he says, "but it's worth noting." I lean closer, my voice soft. "Noah, it's Mom. If you're in there, keep fighting. I'm not going anywhere." The twitch doesn't come again, but it's a spark, a reminder that Noah's still in there, battling his way back. I settle into the chair, the granola bar still untouched on the tray. Tomorrow is Sophie's birthday, and Eleanor expects me to show up, smile, and play the dutiful daughter. But I've drawn a line in the sand, and there's no crossing back. Noah is my family, my heart, my everything. Whatever comes next, morning light filters through the blinds of Noah's ICU room, casting soft stripes across his still form. I've been up all night, my eyes gritty, my body running on fumes and stubbornness. Today is Sophie's 40th birthday, the day Eleanor expects me to abandon my son for. The thought twists my gut, but I shove it aside, focusing on Noah. His hand feels heavier in mine, like he's anchoring me as much as I'm anchoring him. "Come on, buddy," I murmur. "Show me you're still fighting." The monitors hum their steady rhythm, a fragile promise that he's holding on. Nurse Marcus, who's been a quiet strength since his shift started, checks Noah's vitals. "You're a warrior, kid," he says, adjusting a tube with care. To me, he adds, his oxygen saturation up a touch. Not a miracle, but not nothing. I nod, clinging to every scrap of hope. "Thanks, Marcus. Any chance we'll see more today?" He shrugs, kind but honest. Brain injuries don't follow a schedule. But he's stable, and that's a good place to be. I force a smile, my heart a tangle of fear and faith. Stable is better than the alternative. But I ache for more, a twitch, a blink, anything to prove Noah's coming back to me. I'm telling Noah about the time he tried to rescue a stray cat that turned out to be our neighbor's pet when my phone vibrated. It's a voicemail from Eleanor left at some ungodly hour. I hesitate, then play it on low volume, stepping just outside the door. Hannah, her voice is sharp, like she's scolding a child. I'm disappointed in your attitude. Sophie's party starts at 5. You can be here for setup at 3, stay for the toast, and be back at the hospital by 8. It's not too much to ask. If you choose not to come, there will be consequences. I expect better from you. The message ends, and I stand frozen, her words a cold blade. Consequences. She means Noah's college fund, the safety net I've counted on. My thumb hovers over delete, but I save it instead, a reminder of why I'm done playing her game. Back in Noah's room, I sink into the chair, my chest tight. I've spent decades chasing Eleanor's approval, thinking if I tried harder, I'd earn her love. But her love comes with a price tag: obedience, perfection, and putting her vision of family above my own. Noah's accident has ripped the blinders off. I can't keep bending to her will, not when my son needs me whole. I kiss Noah's knuckles, his skin cool against my lips. You're my priority, I whisper. Always. Around 10, Dr. Patel arrives, his clipboard a familiar sight. He reviews Noah's latest EEG, his brow furrowed in concentration. Good news, Hannah, he says. The brain activity's showing subtle improvements. We're seeing more organized patterns. My breath catches. Does that mean he'll wake soon? Dr. Patel raises a hand, cautious. It's a step forward, not a guarantee. We'll start tapering his sedation today. See how he responds. It's a slow process, so don't expect him to open his eyes right away. I nod, tears stinging. Slow is okay, I say, as long as he's moving forward. He offers a rare smile. Keep talking to him. You're his best medicine. The news lights a small fire in me, enough to carry me through the morning. I tell Noah about Yellowstone, how we'll hike to see Old Faithful when he's stronger. I'm mid-story when James slips in, his face etched with worry. He's carrying a coffee for me, steam curling from the lid. Thought you could use this, he says, setting it down. How's Noah? I update him. The improved EEG, the sedation taper, and his shoulders relax a fraction. That's my boy, he says, his voice thick. He's got Caleb's grit. I swallow hard, nodding. Caleb would have been glued to his side, telling him to climb out of this like it's a mountain. James shifts, uneasy, and I know what's coming. Your mom's in a state, Hannah. She's telling everyone you're abandoning the family. I scoff, the anger flaring fresh. Abandoning? She wants me to leave Noah for a party. Did she tell you she threatened to cut us off? James winces, rubbing his jaw. She framed it as encouraging responsibility. I told her it's nonsense, but she's stubborn. Stubborn doesn't cover it, I say. She's holding Noah's future hostage. James looks at his hands, helpless. I'll keep working on her. I hate seeing you two like this. I soften, seeing his pain. I know, Dad, but I can't keep letting her control us. He nods, slow, like he's finally seeing the truth I've lived with forever. He stays a while, reminiscing about Noah's first bike ride, how he wobbled but refused to quit. It's a balm, these memories, but they sting too, reminding me how fragile this moment is. After James leaves, promising to check in later, the hospital chaplain stops by, a gentle woman named Sarah. She doesn't push religion, just asks how I'm holding up. I find myself spilling it all: Eleanor's ultimatum, the family's texts, my fear of losing Noah's future. She listens, her eyes warm. You've made a brave choice, Hannah, she says. Protecting your son isn't just about his body, it's about his heart, too. Eleanor's support sounds like a leash, not a gift. Her words hit deep, echoing what I've been too scared to admit. I've been trading my soul for scraps of her approval, and it's cost me enough. By afternoon, the ICU feels like a pressure cooker. Sophie's party looms, and my phone's buzzing with more guilt trips. Sophie's husband, Ethan, texts, Hannah, You're breaking Sophie's heart. Just show up for an hour. Aunt Clara, your mother raised you better than this. Cousin Nate, don't ruin Sophie's day, Hannah. I mute the thread, my hands shaking. Not one message asks about Noah. It's like he's invisible, his fight reduced to a scheduling conflict. I'm staring at the silenced phone when Marcus calls me over. Look at this, he says, pointing to Noah's monitor. His heart rate went up slightly, and we caught another finger twitch. My pulse races. Is he waking? Marcus is cautious. It could be his brain responding to the sedation drop. Keep talking, he's listening. I lean close, my voice trembling. Noah, it's Mom. I know you're in there. You're so strong, buddy. Keep pushing. I tell him about the astronomy club, how his friends are saving him a spot for the next star party. His fingers twitch again, deliberate this time, and I gasp, tears spilling. Marcus pages Dr. Patel, who arrives quickly, his eyes scanning the readouts. This is promising, he says, checking Noah's pupils. He's showing signs of transitioning to a lighter state. We'll keep the sedation low and monitor closely. I can't breathe. The hope is almost too much. What's next? I ask. We wait, he says. He's doing the work now. I nod, gripping Noah's hand, willing him to keep climbing. As evening creeps in, the hospital's rhythm slows, but my heart's racing. Sophie's party is starting soon, and I'm not there. I picture Eleanor's dining room, her crystal glasses gleaming, and Sophie smiling for photos. For the first time, I'm not the dutiful sister rushing to please. It's terrifying, but it's right. I'm where I belong, beside Noah, where every twitch, every beep feels like a step toward him coming back. Marcus urges me to grab a sandwich from the cafeteria. You're no use to him if you collapse, he says, echoing Emily. I relent, promising 10 minutes. The cafeteria is nearly empty, the smell of overcooked soup turning my stomach. I grab a turkey wrap, sitting by a window overlooking the parking lot. Boise's lights blur through my tears, a city moving on while my world's on pause. I'm halfway through the wrap when my phone rings. It's Ethan, Sophie's husband, his voice clipped. Hannah, this is ridiculous. Sophie's in tears and your mom's a wreck. You're making this day about you. I cut him off, my voice low but fierce. Ethan, my son's in a coma. He might not wake up. I'm sorry Sophie's upset, but I'm not leaving him for a party. You call that making it about me? He stammers, caught off guard. That's not what I meant, it's just, family's important to us. Then where are you? I snap. Why hasn't anyone come to see Noah? Why is Sophie's birthday more important than his life? Silence stretches, and I hang up, my hands trembling. I've never spoken to Ethan like that, but the truth pours out, raw and unfiltered. Back in Noah's room, Marcus looks up, concerned. Are you okay? I shake my head, honest. Family drama. He nods, no judgment. You're doing right by your boy. That's what matters. His words ground me, a reminder that Noah's my North Star. I settle beside him, the wrap forgotten on the tray. It's past 6 now. Sophie's party is in full swing. I should feel guilty, but I don't. I feel free, like I've shed skin that never fits. Noah's monitor beeps steadily, and I talk to him, my voice a lifeline. Remember when we built that rocket that crashed into the fence? You laughed so hard you fell over. We'll build a better one, I promise. Suddenly, Noah's fingers tighten around mine. Not a twitch, but a real squeeze. I freeze, my heart in my throat. Marcus, I call, and he's at my side in seconds, checking the monitors. Heart rate's climbing, he says, excited. He's responding. I lean close, tears streaming. Noah, it's Mom. Squeeze again if you hear me. His fingers move, weak but clear, and I sob, laughter mixing with the tears. Marcus pages Dr. Patel, who arrives, his face lighting up at the news. This is significant, Hannah. He's showing purposeful movement. We'll keep the sedation minimal and see if he progresses. I can't speak, just nod, gripping Noah's hand like it's the only thing keeping me upright. As the night deepens, Noah's squeezes come more often, each one a spark of hope. He's not awake, not yet, but he's fighting, and I'm here every step of the way. Sophie's party feels like another world, one I don't belong to anymore. Eleanor's consequences can wait. Right now, Noah's hand in mine is all the future I need. The ICU is a cocoon of soft beeps and dim lights, but my world is bursting with color. Noah squeezed my hand last night, not once, but over and over like he's clawing his way back to me. It's early morning now, and I'm perched beside his bed, my heart a wild mix of joy and terror. His face is still swollen, his body tethered to machines, but those squeezes are a lifeline, proof of my boy's fighting. I stroke his fingers, careful of the IV. "You're doing so good, Noah," I whisper. "Keep coming back to me. I haven't slept, but I don't care. Every moment feels like a gift, fragile and precious." Nurse Marcus is wrapping up his shift, his eyes tired but warm. "He's a champ, Hannah," he says, nodding at Noah. "Those responses are big. Keep doing what you're doing." I smile, genuine this time. "Thanks, Marcus. You've been a rock." He shrugs, modest. "Just doing my job. But call me if he starts breakdancing, okay?" I laugh, the sound foreign after days of fear. It's a small moment, but it feels like stealing a breath after being underwater too long. As Marcus leaves, Emily Torres takes over, her presence like a steady hand on my shoulder. She checks Noah's chart, her brow lifting. "Look at these notes," she says. "He's making waves." I nod, tears prickling. He's trying so hard. Dr. Patel arrives soon after, his calm focus a contrast to my racing pulse. He reviews Noah's monitors, his expression guarded but optimistic. "The purposeful movements are encouraging," he says. His EEG shows increased activity, closer to wakeful patterns. "We'll continue reducing sedation, but it's still a marathon." My chest tightens, hoping to battle caution. "What should I watch for?" I ask. Dr. Patel meets my eyes. Any intentional response? Squeezes, eye movements, even small sounds. But don't be discouraged if it's inconsistent. Recovery's a winding road. I nod, committing every word to memory. "Thanks, Doc. He's got a lot of people pulling for him." Dr. Patel's smile is brief, but real. I can see why. I settle back, talking to Noah about the time he insisted on wearing his astronaut costume to the grocery store, earning stares and giggles. "You were so proud," I say, my voice soft. "We'll get you a new one when you're up." I'm mid-story when my phone buzzes, a call from James. I step into the hall, keeping Noah in sight through the window. "Hey, Dad," I say, bracing myself. His voice is strained, like he's walking a tightrope. "Hannah, last night was rough. Your mom's furious you didn't show. She's saying you've disrespected the whole family." I close my eyes, the weight of her anger familiar but no less heavy. Noah squeezed my hand. "Dad, he's fighting to wake up. I couldn't leave him." James exhales, long and slow. "I get it, kid. I'm proud of you for staying." "But Eleanor, she's talking about changing the trust, maybe even the will." My stomach drops. "She's serious about cutting us off?" James hesitates. "She's hurt, Hannah. She sees this as betrayal." I laugh, sharp and bitter. "Betrayal? She's the one who told me to leave my dying son for a party." There's a pause. Then James says, "I'll try to reason with her. Just focus on Noah." I soften, grateful for his effort. "Thanks, Dad. That's all I'm doing." Back in Noah's room, I push Eleanor's threat to the back of my mind. The trust fund was meant for Noah's college, a cushion I've leaned on in my head. Losing it would hurt, but not as much as losing him. I've been scraping by since Caleb died, and I'll keep doing it if I have to. Noah's worth more than any bank account. I'm telling him about the meteor shower we watched last summer when Emily calls me over. "Hannah, look," she says, pointing to Noah's face. His eyelids flutter, not just a reflex but a real attempt to open. My breath catches and I lean close. "Noah, it's Mom. Can you open your eyes?" His lids move again, cracking open for a split second before closing. It's enough to send me to my knees, sobbing with relief. Emily's hand is on my shoulder. That's huge, Hannah, he's breaking through. She pages Dr. Patel, and I hold Noah's hand, my voice trembling. You did it, buddy, I'm right here. Dr. Patel confirms it's a milestone. He's transitioning out of the coma, he says, but it'll be gradual. He may drift in and out, maybe not fully aware yet. Keep engaging him, it's helping. I nod, overwhelmed, and resume my vigil, talking about Caleb's campfire stories, Noah's favorite. Around noon, a delivery arrives, a tray of sandwiches from my co-workers at the community college. A note reads, "We've got your shifts covered. Take care of Noah. Love, the team." I tear up, their kindness a stark contrast to my family's silence. I nibble a sandwich, more for Emily's sake than mine, and feel a flicker of strength. These people, my chosen family, are showing up when my own blood won't. The afternoon brings more texts, but I've stopped reading them. I know the script: guilt, blame, Sophie's tears. Instead, I focus on Noah. His eyelids flutter again, and once his lips twitch, like he's trying to speak. Each sign is a spark, building my hope brick by brick. I'm telling him about the rocket kit waiting at home when the door swings open, no knock. Eleanor stands there, her designer coat pristine, Sophie trailing behind, her face a mask of hurt. The air shifts, heavy with their presence. "Hannah," Eleanor says, her voice icy, "we need to talk." Now I set down Noah's hand, my heart pounding. "Not here," I say firmly. "He doesn't need this." Eleanor's eyes narrow. "You've made this public, skipping Sophie's birthday. We're settling it now." Sophie steps forward, her voice quivering. "You ruined my day, Hannah. I planned it for months and you couldn't even call." I stare, incredulous. "Noah's waking up, Sophie. He opened his eyes today. That's my day." Eleanor scoffs. "Don't exaggerate, he's in good hands. Your absence humiliated us." Something cracks inside me, not pain but resolve. "Humiliated?" I say, my voice low but steady. "My son's fighting for his life, and you're worried about your reputation?" Noah squeezed my hand last night. He's trying to come back, and I'm not leaving him for anything. Not your party, not your threats. Eleanor's face hardens. "After all we've done, paying for Noah's camps, helping after Caleb died, you throw it in our faces. I expected better. I stand taller, Caleb's hoodie like armor. What you've done came with strings, Mom. You criticize my parenting, my job, and my life. You used money to control me, and I'm done." Sophie gasps, but I keep going. "I love you, Sophie, but your birthday isn't more important than Noah's life. If you can't see that, we've got nothing to talk about." Eleanor's voice drops to a hiss. "You're ungrateful, Hannah. The trust fund, the inheritance, it's gone. You've made your choice." I meet her gaze, unflinching. "I chose Noah, and I'd do it again. Now, if you want to see him, it's one at a time, 5 minutes, no stress. He's fragile, and I'm his gatekeeper." Eleanor sputters, but I cut her off. "Those are my terms. Take them or leave." For a moment I think she'll storm out, but she nods, stiff, and steps to Noah's bedside, her face softening for show. "Hello, sweetheart," she says, patting his arm. "Grandma's here." Noah's monitor beeps steadily, oblivious to her performance. After 5 minutes I step in. "Time's up, Mom." "He needs rest." She glares but leaves, her heels clicking sharply. Sophie takes her turn, awkward but trying. She shows Noah a photo of her kids on her phone, promising a play date soon. Her eyes meet mine, conflicted, but she says nothing about the fight. When she leaves, I collapse into the chair, drained but unbowed. For the first time, I've set boundaries and held them, not just for Noah, but for me. It's like breaking a fever. Painful, but cleansing. Emily, who's been discreetly nearby, gives me a nod. "You're fierce, Hannah. Noah's lucky to have you." I manage a shaky smile. "Thanks. Just doing what I have to." Evening falls, and Noah's progress continues. His eyes open longer now, unfocused but searching. Once, he makes a faint sound, like a sigh, and I cry, laughter bubbling through. Dr. Patel stops by, pleased. He's moving toward consciousness, he says. We might try removing the ventilator tomorrow if he keeps this up. The words are a melody, hope swelling in my chest. I stay by Noah, talking about the stars, our hikes, anything to guide him back. Around 9, James texts, "I'm proud of you, kid. Mom's tough, but you're tougher." I tear up. His support is a quiet strength. I replied, "Thanks, Dad. Just keep loving Noah." As night deepens, the ICU grows still, but my hope burns bright. Noah's eyes flicker open again, and this time they find mine, hazy but real. I gasp, leaning close. "Noah, it's Mom. You're safe." His lips move, no sound, but his gaze holds me, a bridge between us. I sob, joy and relief crashing over me. "You're doing it, buddy. I'm here." I hold his hand, feeling his weak grip, and know we're turning a corner. Eleanor's threats, Sophie's party, their shadows fading against this light. Noah's coming back, and I'm his anchor, now and always. The ICU feels different this morning, like the air itself is holding its breath. Noah's eyes opened last night, locking onto mine for a fleeting moment, and it's changed everything. I'm still by his bedside, my hand wrapped around his, my heart a wild dance of hope and fear. The ventilator's steady whoosh is a backdrop to my whispered stories, each word a rope I'm tossing to pull him back. "You're almost there, Noah," I murmur. "I can feel you fighting." His face, bruised but softer now, seems closer to the boy I know, not just a shell of machines and bandages. Emily Torres slips in, her smile a quiet encouragement. She checks Noah's monitors, her movements gentle but precise. "He's holding strong, Hannah," she says. "His vitals are steady and those eye movements are a big deal." I nod, my throat tight with gratitude. "Thanks, Emily. You've been a lifeline." She shrugs, her eyes warm. "You're the one keeping him going. Just don't forget to take care of yourself, too." I promise to try, but my focus is Noah. Every flicker of his eyelids, every weak squeeze, feels like a miracle unfolding in slow motion. Dr. Patel arrives mid-morning, his calm presence steadying my nerves. He reviews Noah's chart, his fingers tracing the latest EEG readouts. "We're seeing consistent progress," he says. His brain activity is stronger and more coordinated. "We're planning to try extubation today, removing the ventilator if his breathing trials go well." My heart leaps, but fear tempers it. "Is he ready?" I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Dr. Patel meets my gaze, honest but hopeful. He's showing us he's trying. We'll do it carefully, with full monitoring. If it goes well, he might start speaking soon. Speaking. The word is a spark, igniting possibilities I've barely let myself imagine. I nod, gripping Noah's hand. "Okay, let's do it." The breathing trial takes hours, a tense dance of medical checks and adjustments. I stay close, talking to Noah about the time he built a kite that soared so high it got tangled in a power line. "You were so mad when we had to cut it down," I say, laughing softly. "We'll make a better one, buddy." His fingers twitch like he's answering, and I hold my breath, willing him to keep pushing. By early afternoon, Dr. Patel gives the green light. The extubation is quick but nerve-wracking, the room filled with the quiet focus of the medical team. When the tube comes out, Noah's chest rises on its own, shaky but real. I sob, relief flooding me. "He's breathing," I whisper, and Emily squeezes my shoulder. "He's a fighter, Hannah." Noah's voice doesn't come right away. His throat is raw, his body weak, but his eyes open more often, hazy yet searching. I keep talking, telling him about the astronomy club's plan to name a star after him. Around 3, as sunlight slants through the window, his lips move, and a raspy sound escapes. "Mom." It's faint, barely audible, but it's him. I freeze, tears spilling. "Noah, I'm here," I say, leaning close. "Can you say it again?" His eyes find mine, still cloudy but locked on me. "Mom," he whispers, stronger this time. I laugh through my sobs, clutching his hand. "That's it, buddy. You're back." Emily, who's been monitoring, grins. "Well, hello there, Noah. Welcome back." She pages Dr. Patel, and I keep talking, my voice a mix of joy and disbelief. "You scared me, kid, but you're doing so good." Dr. Patel confirms Noah's responsiveness is a major step. He's awake, but he'll be disoriented, he says. His cognitive recovery will take time, and we'll need to monitor for deficits. Keep engaging him. Simple questions, familiar stories. I nod, overwhelmed but ready. Noah's voice, that single word, is a victory I'll carry forever. I ask him if he remembers the kite, and he blinks slowly, his lips twitching like he's trying to smile. It's enough to keep me going, hour after hour, as he drifts in and out of awareness. But even this joy can't shield me from the storm brewing outside. My phone, silent since I muted it, lights up with a call from Sophie. I step into the hall, keeping Noah's bed in view. "Hannah," her voice is tight, like she's holding back tears. Mom's beside herself. "You didn't show, didn't even call. I know Noah's sick, but you could have sent a text." I take a deep breath, steadying myself. "Sophie," Noah said his first word today. "He's waking up from a coma. I'm sorry your party didn't go as planned, but my son comes first." There's a pause, then she says, "You're making this harder than it needs to be. Mom's talking about cutting you out completely. Noah's fund, everything." I close my eyes. The threat is a familiar sting. She made that clear, I say. But I'm not leaving Noah to make her feel better. Sophie sighs, exasperated. "You're so stubborn. We're family, Hannah." I cut her off, my voice firm. "Family shows up, Sophie. Where were you when Noah was fighting to breathe?" She's silent, and I hang up, my heart pounding but clear. Back in Noah's room, I push the call away, focusing on him. He's awake again, his eyes clearer now. "Water," he rasps, and I help him sip through a straw, my hands shaking with joy. "You're doing amazing," I say, stroking his hair. He blinks, slow like he's processing. "Where's Grandma?" he whispers, his voice fragile. My heart twists. He doesn't know about the fight, and I won't burden him. "Grandma knows you're here," I say gently. "Everyone is cheering for you." He nods, weak, and drifts back to sleep, his hand still in mine. I exchange a look with Emily, who's been watching. "Keep it simple for now," she says. "He's got enough to carry." I nod, grateful for her wisdom. The afternoon brings more small victories. Noah responds to simple questions, blinking for yes, squeezing my hand for no. When I ask if he wants to hear about Caleb's camping tricks, he blinks twice, and I laugh, tears falling. "Okay, buddy, one story is coming up." I'm mid-tale. When James arrives, his face is weary but soft. He sees Noah's open eyes and freezes, his breath catching. "He's awake?" he whispers. I nod, smiling through tears. He said Mom today. James's eyes well up, and he sits beside Noah, careful not to jostle him. "Hey, champ," he says, his voice thick. "You're making us proud." Noah blinks slowly, and James laughs, a sound of pure relief. I pull James aside, keeping my voice low. "How's Mom?" He sighs, rubbing his temples. "She's doubling down, Hannah. Says you've shamed the family. She's meeting with the lawyer tomorrow about the trust." I swallow hard, the reality sinking in. "Is she really doing it?" James nods, pained. I tried to talk her out of it, but she's set. "I'm sorry, kid." I touch his arm, steady now. "It's okay, Dad. Noah's awake. That's worth more than her money." He looks at me, pride flickering in his eyes. "You're stronger than I ever was," he says. I shrug, deflecting. Just doing what Caleb would have done. James stays for a while, telling Noah about the time they built a birdhouse that collapsed in a storm. Noah's eyes flicker, a hint of his old spark. After James leaves, promising to return tomorrow, a social worker stops by, a kind woman named Lisa. She's been assigned to help us navigate Noah's recovery, and we talk about rehab options, insurance, and the road ahead. It's overwhelming, but her calm explanation grounds me. "You're not alone, Hannah," she says. "We'll figure out the next steps together." I thank her, feeling a flicker of hope not just for Noah but for myself. I pull James aside, keeping my voice low. "How's Mom?" He sighs, rubbing his temples. "She's doubling down, Hannah. Says you've shamed the family. She's meeting with the lawyer tomorrow about the trust." I swallow hard, the reality sinking in. Is she really doing it? James nods, pained. I tried to talk her out of it, but she's set. "I'm sorry, kid." I touch his arm, steady now. "It's okay, Dad. Noah's awake. That's worth more than her money." He looks at me, pride flickering in his eyes. "You're stronger than I ever was," he says. I shrug, deflecting. "Just doing what Caleb would have done." James stays for a while, telling Noah about the time they built a birdhouse that collapsed in a storm. Noah's eyes flicker, a hint of his old spark. After James leaves, promising to return tomorrow, a social worker stops by, a kind woman named Lisa. She's been assigned to help us navigate Noah's recovery, and we talk about rehab options, insurance, and the road ahead. It's overwhelming, but her calm explanation grounds me. "You're not alone, Hannah," she says. "We'll figure out the next steps together." I thank her, feeling a flicker of hope not just for Noah but for us. James stays for a while, telling Noah about the time they built a birdhouse that collapsed in a storm. Noah's eyes flicker, a hint of his old spark. After James leaves, promising to return tomorrow, a social worker stops by, a kind woman named Lisa. She's been assigned to help us navigate Noah's recovery, and we talk about rehab options, insurance, and the road ahead. It's overwhelming, but her calm explanation grounds me. "You're not alone, Hannah," she says. "We'll figure out the next steps together." I thank her, feeling a flicker of hope not just for Noah but for myself. I pull James aside, keeping my voice low. "How's Mom?" He sighs, rubbing his temples. "She's doubling down, Hannah. Says you've shamed the family. She's meeting with the lawyer tomorrow about the trust." I swallow hard, the reality sinking in. Is she really doing it? James nods, pained. I tried to talk her out of it, but she's set. "I'm sorry, kid." I touch his arm, steady now. "It's okay, Dad. Noah's awake. That's worth more than her money." He looks at me, pride flickering in his eyes. "You're stronger than I ever was," he says. I shrug, deflecting. "Just doing what Caleb would have done." James stays for a while, telling Noah about the time they built a birdhouse that collapsed in a storm. Noah's eyes flicker, a hint of his old spark. After James leaves, promising to return tomorrow, a social worker stops by, a kind woman named Lisa. She's been assigned to help us navigate Noah's recovery, and we talk about rehab options, insurance, and the road ahead. It's overwhelming, but her calm explanation grounds me. "You're not alone, Hannah," she says. "We'll figure out the next steps together." I thank her, feeling a flicker of hope not just for Noah but for us, as a family of two. Evening settles in. The hospital is quiet except for the soft hum of machines. Noah's awake more now, his voice a whisper but growing stronger. "Hungry?" he says, and I laugh, helping him with a spoonful of broth. "Slow, buddy," I say. My heart is swelling. Emily checks in, thrilled at his progress. "He's a rock star," she says, updating his chart. I nod, but my mind drifts to Eleanor's threat. The trust fund was a safety net, a promise of college and stability. Without it, I'll need to work harder, maybe take on extra hours. But as I look at Noah, his eyes half open, I know it's a price I'll pay. He's my future, not her money. As a family of two. Evening settles in. The hospital is quiet except for the soft hum of machines. Noah's awake more now, his voice a whisper but growing stronger. "Hungry," he says, and I laugh, helping him with a spoonful of broth. "Slow, buddy," I say. My heart is swelling. Emily checks in, thrilled at his progress. "He's a rock star," she says, updating his chart. I nod, but my mind drifts to Eleanor's threat. The trust fund was a safety net, a promise of college and stability. Without it, I'll need to work harder, maybe take on extra hours. But as I look at Noah, his eyes half open, I know it's a price I'll pay. He's my future, not her money. As a family of two. Evening settles in. The hospital is quiet except for the soft hum of machines. Noah's awake more now, his voice a whisper but growing stronger. "Hungry," he says, and I laugh, helping him with a spoonful of broth. "Slow, buddy," I say. My heart is swelling. Emily checks in, thrilled at his progress. "He's a rock star," she says, updating his chart. I nod, but my mind drifts to Eleanor's threat. The trust fund was a safety net, a promise of college and stability. Without it, I'll need to work harder, maybe take on extra hours. But as I look at Noah, his eyes half open, I know it's a price I'll pay. He's my future, not her money. Around 8, my phone buzzes with a text from Caleb's parents in Oregon. "We're driving down tomorrow," they write. "Can't wait to see Noah. Love you both." I tear up, their unwavering support a stark contrast to Eleanor's absence. I replied, "Can't wait to see you. Noah's talking." Their response is immediate. "Praise God, we're so proud of him. And you." I hold on to their words, a reminder that family isn't just blood, it's the people who show up, no strings attached. As night falls, Noah's awake again, his voice a soft rasp. "Mom?" he says. His eyes clearer now. "Was I asleep for a long time?" I smile, brushing his hair back. "A little while, buddy. But you're waking up now, and that's what matters." He nods, his hand squeezing mine, stronger than before. "I love you," I say, my voice breaking. He blinks, slow, and whispers, "Love you too." It's the first full sentence he's said, and it cracks me open, joy and relief spilling out. I stay by his side, talking softly, knowing we've crossed a threshold. Eleanor's world, her threats, her party. They're fading, irrelevant against the sound of Noah's voice. We're building something new, something real, and no one can take that away. Sunlight spills into Noah's ICU room, softer now as the morning unfolds, painting his face with a warmth that feels like hope. He's been awake more since yesterday, his raspy voice calling me Mom and asking for water, each word a small miracle that stitches my heart back together. I'm still by his side, my hand in his, marveling at how his hazel eyes, so like Caleb's, hold a flicker of his old curiosity. "You're coming back, buddy," I whisper, brushing a lock of hair from his forehead. "We've got so many adventures waiting." His lips curve, not quite a smile but close enough to make my chest ache with gratitude. Emily Torres breezes in, her energy a quiet lift in the sterile room. She checks Noah's vitals, her smile widening as she notes his progress. "He's a superstar, Hannah," she says. "His oxygen levels are solid and he's tracking better." I grin, exhaustion fading against this news. "He talked more yesterday," I say, "even asked about Grandma." Emily nods, her eyes kind but knowing. "Kids see the world simply. Just keep giving him that love of yours. It's working wonders." I squeeze Noah's hand, promising to do just that, though the mention of Eleanor twists something in my gut. Her absence, her threats, linger like a bruise I can't ignore. Dr. Patel stops by, his steady presence a comfort. He examines Noah, testing his reflexes and asking him to follow a pen with his eyes. Noah complies, slow but deliberate, and Dr. Patel nods, pleased. "He's making remarkable strides, Hannah," he says. "His cognitive responses are encouraging, but we'll need to start physical therapy soon for his pelvis and motor skills. Recovery's a long road, but he's on it." My heart swells, though the road ahead looms large. "What's next?" I ask. Dr. Patel adjusts his glasses. "We'll move him to a step-down unit soon, maybe in a day or two if he keeps improving. Start preparing for rehab. It'll be intensive." I nod, the weight of logistics settling in, but Noah's faint mom from the bed pulls me back. I'm here, buddy, I say, and he blinks, his gaze steadying on me. I'm telling Noah about the time he tried to teach our old dog to fetch a frisbee, laughing at the memory of fur and chaos, when the door opened. Caleb's parents, Ellen and Mike Morrow, step in, their faces worn but bright with relief. They drove through the night from Oregon, and their presence feels like a warm blanket after a cold storm. "Hannah," Ellen says, hugging me tight. We heard Noah's talking. I nod, tears welling as I pull back. He's fighting so hard. Mike, gruff but soft-eyed, claps my shoulder. "That's our boy." They move to Noah's bedside, Ellen's hand trembling as she touches his arm. "Hey, little astronaut," she says, her voice thick. "Grandma Ellen and Grandpa Mike are here." Noah's eyes flicker and he whispers, "Hi," so faint it's barely there, but Ellen sobs, her smile radiant. Mike wipes his eyes, muttering about dust in the room, and I laugh, the sound a release I didn't know I needed. We spend the morning catching up, their stories of Caleb's childhood weaving a thread of connection. Ellen talks about how Caleb once built a treehouse that collapsed mid-climb, and Noah's lips twitch, listening. Mike promises to bring Noah's favorite model rocket kit when he's stronger. Their love, free of conditions, is a stark contrast to Eleanor's silence. I tell them about Noah's progress, the words, the eye contact, and they listen, really listen. Their support is a balm for the wounds my family's carved. "You're doing right by him, Hannah," Mike says. "Caleb would be so proud." I nod, my throat tight, knowing it's true. Around noon, James slips in, his face heavy with something unspoken. He greets Ellen and Mike, then pulls me aside, his voice low. "Hannah, I need to tell you something. Your mom met with the lawyer this morning. She's removed you and Noah from the trust and the will. It's done." My stomach lurches, the finality hitting like a punch. No more college funds, no inheritance. "Just like that?" I ask, my voice steady despite the shock. James nods, his eyes pained. "I fought her on it, but she's made up her mind. Say you've chosen to cut ties." I laugh bitterly. "She's the one who gave me an ultimatum, Dad. Leave Noah or lose everything." James rubs his neck, caught as always. "I know. I'm sorry, kid. I'll try to help where I can." I touch his arm, grateful but resolute. "Thanks, Dad, but we'll be okay. Noah's awake. That's what matters." Back at Noah's side, I push the news down, focusing on his small victories. He's awake longer now, asking for juice in a hoarse whisper. I help him sip, my hand steady despite the storm in my head. Ellen and Mike stay, their presence a shield against the weight of Eleanor's decision. We talk about practical things, rehab programs, insurance gaps, and Ellen offers to help with meals when Noah moves to rehab. "Your family, Hannah," she says. "We're in this together." Her words wrap around me, filling the space Eleanor's left empty. I realize with a clarity that stings that family isn't about obligation. It's about showing up, no strings attached. The afternoon brings a visit from Lisa, the social worker, who updates me on rehab options. She's found a pediatric facility in Boise with a strong traumatic brain injury program. "It's expensive," she says, "but we can explore grants and payment plans." I nod, the loss of the trust fund looming larger now. "I'll figure it out," I say, more to myself than her. Lisa's eyes are kind. "You're not alone, Hannah. We'll navigate this." Her assurance, like Ellen's, grounds me, a reminder that I'm building a new support system, one rooted in care, not control. Noah's progress continues, slow but steady. He answers simple questions. "Do you want more juice?" Blink for yes, and his blinks are clear, purposeful. I tell him about the rocket kit Mike's bringing, and his eyes light up, a spark of the old Noah. It's enough to keep me going, even as my phone buzzes with a text from Sophie's husband, Ethan. "Your mom's devastated, Hannah. You've torn the family apart. Can't you at least apologize?" I deleted it, my hands steady now. Apologize for choosing Noah? For refusing to play Eleanor's game? I'm done with guilt trips. I turn the phone off, focusing on Noah's faint smile as I describe the constellations we'll map when he's stronger. Evening falls, and Ellen and Mike head to a nearby hotel, promising to return tomorrow. Noah's tired, his eyes drifting closed, but he whispers, "Love you, Mom," before sleeping. I cry, quiet, the words a treasure I'll carry forever. Emily checks in, thrilled at his progress. "He's a rock star, Hannah," she says. "You both are." I nod, but my mind wanders to the future. Without Eleanor's money, I'll need to take on freelance work, maybe night shifts. It's daunting, but as I look at Noah, his chest rising with each breath, I know it's possible. We've survived worse. Losing Caleb, starting over. We'll survive this too. Around 9, a coworker, Jenna, drops by with a casserole and a card from Noah's astronomy club. The kids drew stars and rockets with notes like, "Get well, Noah, we miss you." I tear up, their kindness a light in the dark. Jenna hugs me, no words needed, and I feel the strength of this community, people who've become family when mine turned away. I tell Noah about the card, and his lips twitch, a faint smile. "Stars," he whispers, and I laugh, promising we'll chase them soon. As night settles in, the ICU's quiet hum wraps around us. Noah's asleep, his hand in mine, and I reflect on the day. Eleanor's decision to cut us off is real now, a door slammed shut. But Noah's voice, his eyes, his fight, their doors opening, ones I'll walk through with him. Caleb's parents, my co-workers, even strangers like Lisa, they're the family we're choosing, the ones who lift us up without asking for my soul in return. I lean close to Noah, whispering, "We're going to be okay, buddy. Just you and me and the people who love us for real." His breathing steadies, and I know deep down we're finding our way, one hard-won step at a time. The hospital room is brighter now, not just from the spring sunlight streaming through the window, but from the life returning to Noah's eyes. It's been a few days since he started talking, and today he's moving to a step-down unit, a milestone that feels like crossing a finish line after a grueling race. I'm packing his small bag, his favorite rocket-themed pajamas, a sketchbook from his astronomy club, while he watches, propped up in bed, his voice still soft but growing stronger. "Mom, will I get to build rockets again?" he asks, his hazel eyes searching mine. I smile, my heart full. "You bet, buddy. We'll launch one to the moon." His lips curve into a real smile, the first I've seen since the accident. And it's like the world rights itself, just for a moment. Emily Torres pops in, her clipboard tucked under her arm. She's been our rock, and today her grin is infectious. "Noah, you're graduating to the big leagues," she says, checking his chart one last time. "Keep shining, okay?" Noah nods, shy but proud. "Thanks, Emily," he whispers. She winks at me. "You've got a champ here, Hannah. Take care of each other." I hug her, words failing me. "You've given us so much," I say finally. She shrugs, her eyes misty. "Just doing what I love." "Keep us posted, yeah?" I promise, knowing this goodbye isn't forever. Dr. Patel arrives to clear Noah for the transfer, his calm voice a steady anchor. "He's exceeded expectations, Hannah," he says. "His cognitive recovery is strong, though physical therapy will be critical for his pelvis and mobility. Stay patient. He's got a bright future." I nod, gratitude overwhelming me. "Thank you, Doc, for everything." He shakes my hand, a rare warmth in his smile. "You're a fierce advocate. Noah's lucky." As he leaves, Noah tugs my sleeve. "Mom, am I going to walk again?" His question catches me off guard, but I keep my voice steady. "You will, Noah. It'll take work, but you're tougher than anyone I know." He nods, trusting, and I know I'll move mountains to make it true. The transfer to the step-down unit is smooth, the new room less clinical, with a view of Boise's rolling hills. Noah's settled in, a physical therapist already planning his first session. I'm unpacking when Ellen and Mike Morrow arrive, their arms full of gifts, a model rocket kit, a star chart, and a homemade quilt from Ellen. They hug Noah, careful of his bandages, and his face lights up. "Grandpa Mike, can we launch this soon?" he asks, holding the rocket box. Mike chuckles, his gruff voice soft. "As soon as you're ready, kid." Ellen pulls me into a hug. "You're doing amazing, Hannah. We're staying in town for a while to help." I tear up, their support a lifeline. "I don't know what I'd do without you," I say. Ellen smiles. "You're family, that's what we do." Their presence fills the room with warmth, a stark contrast to the cold silence from Eleanor. James called yesterday, confirming she's followed through on her threat. No trust fund, no inheritance. The news stung, but it's losing its power. Noah's smile, his voice, his fight, they're worth more than any check. Still, the practical weight presses on me. Rehab's costly, and my receptionist job won't cover it all. Lisa, the social worker, has lined up a grant application, but I'll need to pick up freelance graphic design work, something I haven't touched since college. It's daunting, but as I watch Noah show Mike the star chart, I know we'll find a way. Mid-afternoon, Sophie sends a text, her first since our call. "Can I visit Noah? I need to talk." I hesitate, the memory of her blame still raw, but Noah's asked about his cousins. I reply, "Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Keep it positive for Noah." She agrees, and I hope cautiously it's a step toward something better. But Eleanor's another story. She hasn't visited since our fight, her silence louder than any words. I'm telling Noah about the time Caleb got lost on a hike and talked to the stars for directions when the door opens. James steps in, alone, his face etched with exhaustion. He hugs Noah, ruffling his hair. "Looking good, champ," he says, then turns to me. "Can we talk outside?" In the hall, his voice is heavy. "Hannah, your mom's not coming around. She's telling everyone you've disowned us. I've tried, but she's set in her ways." I nod, the pain familiar but duller now. "I didn't disown anyone, Dad. She gave me a choice, Noah or her party. I chose my son." James sighs, his eyes sad. "I know, I just wish." He trails off and I see the truth. He's trapped, loving us both but unable to break free. "It's okay, Dad," I say. "Just keep being Noah's grandpa. That's enough." He nods, relief flickering. "I'll always be here for him. For you too." I hug him, grateful for what he can give. Back in Noah's room, we keep it light, talking about the quilt's starry pattern. But later, when Noah's napping, I step onto the balcony, needing air. Boise stretches out below, alive and indifferent to my battles. I think about Eleanor's world, her perfect house, her curated life, her love that always came with a catch. I spent years chasing her approval, thinking it would make me whole. But Noah's accident, her ultimatum, showed me the truth. Her love was a cage, and I've finally broken free. The cost is steep, no safety net, no family gatherings at her table. But the freedom is worth it. I'm building a life for Noah and me, one rooted in love that doesn't demand my soul. Evening brings a surprise. Owen's mom, Rachel, drops by with a batch of cookies and a card from Noah's skateboarding friends. Noah's awake, and his face lights up at the cookies. "Can I have one?" he asks, his voice stronger. I laugh, breaking off a small piece. "Easy, champ." Rachel sits with us, sharing stories of Owen's attempts to master a new trick. "It's not your fault, Noah," she says gently, and he nods, a weight lifting. Her kindness, like Ellen's, Mike's, and my coworkers, is a thread in the new tapestry I'm weaving. A family chosen for their heart, not their blood. The next day, Sophie arrives, her face tense but soft. She brings a stuffed planet plushie for Noah, who grins, hugging it. "Thanks, Aunt Sophie," he says, and she tears up, sitting beside him. They talk about his cousins, and for a moment it feels normal. But when Noah dozes, Sophie turns to me, her voice low. "I'm sorry, Hannah. I didn't get it. How serious this was. Mom made it sound like—" I cut her off, gently but firmly. "Like I was overreacting?" Sophie nods, ashamed. I was wrong. Can we try again? I study her, seeing sincerity but also years of playing Eleanor's game. Maybe, I say. But it's on my terms now. Noah's my priority, and I won't bend to make anyone comfortable. She nods, hesitant but earnest. I'll try. I hope she means it, but I'm done waiting for her to prove it. Weeks pass, and Noah moves to the rehab facility, a bright space filled with therapists who challenge and cheer him on. He's walking with a walker, his steps shaky but determined, each one a victory. His memory's spotty and he tires fast, but his spirit, the kid who dreamed of stars, is shining through. I'm back at work part-time, squeezing in freelance design gigs at night. It's grueling, but Caleb's parents help with meals, and my co-workers pitch in with rides. Lisa secures a partial grant, easing the financial strain. We're making it, not easily, but with a strength I didn't know we had. Eleanor's silence is permanent now. James visits alone, bringing Noah comic books and stories of their fishing trips. He's quieter, torn between us, but his love for Noah is unwavering. Sophie sends occasional texts, asking about Noah, but the distance remains. I don't chase her, focusing instead on the people who show up, Ellen, Mike, and Rachel. Weeks pass, and Noah moves to the rehab facility, a bright space filled with therapists who challenge and cheer him on. He's walking with a walker, his steps shaky but determined, each one a victory. His memory's spotty and he tires fast, but his spirit, the kid who dreamed of stars, is shining through. I'm back at work part-time, squeezing in freelance design gigs at night. It's grueling, but Caleb's parents help with meals, and my co-workers pitch in with rides. Lisa secures a partial grant, easing the financial strain. We're making it, not easily, but with a strength I didn't know we had. Eleanor's silence is permanent now. James visits alone, bringing Noah comic books and stories of their fishing trips. He's quieter, torn between us, but his love for Noah is unwavering. Sophie sends occasional texts, asking about Noah, but the distance remains. I don't chase her, focusing instead on the people who show up, Ellen, Mike, Rachel, Jenna, and the rehab team. They're our constellation, each a star guiding us through the dark. One evening after Noah's therapy, we sit on the rehab center's patio, the sky ablaze with sunset. He's in a wheelchair, a blanket over his legs, but his eyes are bright. "Mom," he says, his voice clear now, "did I almost die?" The question steals my breath, but I won't lie. "You came close, buddy," I say, taking his hand, "but you fought like a hero." He nods, thoughtful. "Was Grandma mad you stayed with me?" My heart aches, but I keep it simple. She didn't understand Noah, but I chose you, and I'd do it again every time. He squeezes my hand, strong now. "I'm glad you stayed." His words heal something deep, a wound I didn't know was still bleeding. The rehab team, they're our constellation, each a star guiding us through the dark. One evening, after Noah's therapy, we sat on the rehab center's patio, the sky ablaze with sunset. He's in a wheelchair, a blanket over his legs, but his eyes are bright. "Mom," he says, his voice clear now, "did I almost die?" The question steals my breath, but I won't lie. "You came close, buddy," I say, taking his hand, "but you fought like a hero." He nods, thoughtful. "Was Grandma mad you stayed with me?" My heart aches, but I keep it simple. She didn't understand Noah, but I chose you, and I'd do it again every time. He squeezes my hand, strong now. "I'm glad you stayed." His words heal something deep, a wound I didn't know was still bleeding. We watch the stars emerge, and Noah points out Orion, his favorite. "Dad would have liked this," he says, and I nod, tears falling. "He would have," I say. "He's proud of you." Noah. Of us. We sit in silence, the night wrapping around us, and I feel it. A peace I've never known. Eleanor's money, her approval, her world, they're gone, but they were chains, not gifts. In their place we've built something real, a life of love, resilience, and people who choose us back. Noah's laughter, his dreams, his hand in mine, they're my wealth, my legacy, my home. As the stars brighten, I whisper to Noah, "We're going to be okay, buddy. Better than okay." He smiles, his eyes on the sky. "Yeah, Mom, we're going to fly. And I know with every beat of my heart that we will, together, free, soaring toward a future we've earned, one beautiful, hard-won step at a time."